Hey there internet, you're watching Nog TV. You ever see a price tag on something and think to yourself, I'd never spend that much money on it. And then you buy it anyways? Like for example, I didn't want to spend $45 on a water bottle. I can drink water just fine, thank you very much. But now that I have one, I have no idea how I used to drink water without one.
That's Mario Kart World. I had been eagerly awaiting the next entry in the Mario Kart series ever since the rumors of a new entry started floating around, and then we saw just a tiny bit of that in the initial Switch 2 announcement. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was alright, but it was getting so stale. Sure, you can add tons of new tracks and even some new characters, but that doesn't make the core gameplay more fun. But then during that Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, where they announced the date and release of the Switch 2 as well as all the games, there was Mario Kart World. Open world, new costumes for characters, and cows! Don't forget the cows! Problem was, they didn't announce the prices on anything, so fair for everyone to expect either $60 or maybe even the new $70 standard that was becoming more apparent with Xbox and Sony. After all, Nintendo even did it with their last big new game, Tears of the Kingdom. However, after the Direct, I saw that $80 price tag and thought to myself, nope, I'd rather keep the lights on in the house. Don't get me wrong, that game looked phenomenal, but I really feel like that was kind of high for a kart racer I'll put down 2 weeks after playing and unlocking everything.
But then, I saw that they had some bundles with Mario Kart World in it. It was only $50 extra. So for that $30 difference on Mario Kart World, I was hooked. So, let's go ahead and talk about it. Not the Switch 2. Mario Kart World, I don't have a physical version of it to show you.
First up, the price panic. Let's get the price drama out of the way early on. This game launched at $80 US, not 90 or anything else, $80 US. Of course, half the rage was from people who saw the 90 euros European price and assumed that Mario himself had started charging interest. The other 40-ish% was mainly just haters and misinformation spreaders who for some reason get some sort of sick pleasure from wishing failure to the competition or dogging on anybody's favorite developers and companies if they don't share the same opinion. It's just weird because competition is what makes better games and makes companies work harder. If we went to one console or one game company, just imagine how much worse prices would be. Now that's anti-consumer. Of course, as stated earlier, if you bought the Mario Kart World bundle, it was actually only $50. That's pretty good, all things considered. I just think Nintendo should have marketed those better and made even more of those available. I do understand, however, that some prefer physical copies as opposed to the digital versions with download codes. I can respect it if that's your argument, as I'm all for the preservation of physical media. However, I'm sure we'll discuss that another day, so let's get back to the game.
Mario Kart World had massive pressure on its shoulders, probably more so than any game in the series. As beloved as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was, it had been around long enough that it was probably time that it could get its own driver's license.
Mario Kart 8 launched on the Wii U May 30th, 2014, and if there's ever a game to make you feel like it's never too late to work on yourself, it's this one. Mario Kart 8 went from being kinda boring on the Wii U to the Nintendo Switch in the form of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then going to visually appealing and only slightly boring. We had the deluxe version of the game, booster courses, crossover content. It was great and all to see the game get continued support, but at some point, the game kinda started to feel like Western sizzling. Like, I'm thankful for the options, but the options are not the problem. It's just that the food ain't that great. Get some new chefs or some new recipes. So of course, when Mario Kart World was announced, people expected fireworks. And boy did we get them alright. It's got a fresh look with lots of new character redesigns. I personally love Mario, Daisy, and King Boo, although I'm still kinda getting used to the new Donkey Kong model. The game handles like a dream, letting you go from road to grinding on the rails or fences, power lines, over to wall riding, and back again. Overall, it feels like the devs finally remembered that, hey, they can go nuts. It's Mario Kart. Of course, we shouldn't be shocked with such a massive team and budget for this game. Heck, the fact that Monolith Soft even helped work on the game, who develops the Xenoblade games, that should tell a lot. They always have such great visuals and elaborate soundtracks. I say all this and I'm not even an RPG guy.
Don't believe me? Fine, I'll call my RPG guy.
Hello?
Hey there, RPG guy. You're on my TV. Listen, RPG guy. Word on the street is everyone's talking about it. Monolith Soft apparently helped develop Mario Kart World. Should we be worried? What should we expect? Are they even any good?
Oh yeah, dude, don't worry. Monolith Soft is peak.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. Thanks, RPG guy. told you so.
Easily the best part of Mario Kart World are the new course designs. The new courses are insane. They aren't just tracks, they're experiences. As many cool Mario Kart tracks as there have been over the years, oftentimes I finish a race with little to no emotion, put my controller down, and pick up my phone to distract me until the next race starts. Not anymore though. Now, some tracks just flow right into the next one without ever hitting a menu, and the vast majority of them aren't even your basic 3 laps in a circle type race. If you're playing the Grand Prix mode, the first lap of each sequential race will usually take place on the same track as the last, except you may go off the path a bit, transitioning into the second lap, which can vary depending on the track, and the last lap is usually a full lap at that specific course. Rinse and repeat, and it becomes a magical experience.
Admittedly, at first, I had trouble remembering each track and where one started and the next one ended, but the more that I played it, I saw that there was more of an emphasis on the Grand Prix and the Cups versus just individual tracks. Now, albeit you can play them in versus mode, but they're really good when they just seamlessly mesh together.
Rainbow Road is the only unlockable track in the game, achieved by beating every cup and unlocking the special cup. It's definitely received the most praise out of any tracks in the game, because it really is the best Rainbow Road in the whole series, and maybe a top 3 track overall. I realize that's not saying a ton though. If I'll be honest, I've never enjoyed Rainbow Road as a track, but more as a gimmick. I know they're gonna keep things chaotic and tightly contested, but they're also a pain in the butt to maneuver. Honestly, up to this point, my favorite Rainbow Road was the SNES version. Heck, it was one of my favorite tracks in all of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, including the Booster Pass, just because it was the original, and it looked colorful. That was it. Something about this Rainbow Road just sticks out though. Visually, it looks stunning, the music is so good, and especially that part in the water with all the Lumas. I don't know, I got chills the first time. Like, I've never gotten goosebumps from a Mario Kart track, but I did that time, and I can't say it'll ever happen again. Outside of Rainbow Road though, I gotta say my personal favorite is the Donkey Kong track that's very reminiscent of classic Donkey Kong with the barrels and the vertical build up. Cheap Cheap Falls is also really stunning, and even Boost Cinema is pretty freaking sweet. I know that Mario Kart World doesn't have as many tracks as 8 Deluxe, in fact, nowhere near it. But to me, it's a matter of quality over quantity. Sure, Deluxe had dozens, but I was playing on the same 10 or so. Once they started adding in random tracks from Mario Kart Tour, that's about when I lost track. I genuinely don't mind playing any track in World because I know I'm going to have a fun experience throughout. And honestly, the best tracks in 8 Deluxe were the ones like Big Blue and Wario Summit that weren't just 3 laps and repeated loops, they were journeys from point A to point B.
That being said, Nintendo, release some DLC, give us Baby Park, and give us a Mario Sunshine course where we can go all throughout Delfino Plaza.
And then there's Knockout Tour, my new favorite mode, and the reason why I'll have gray hair before I ever even get to have kids. Picture it, 24 players start, each race eliminates the worst drivers. Every item matters, every mistake could be the end. No breaks, no rest, just a pure adrenaline rush to the finish. It's like Mario Kart meets Fortnite, but with banana peels. I've seen complaints that the balancing in the game needs some major work, and while I have had my fair share of being in first the entire race, only to get a dump taken on me and drop to 7th or something at the end, I feel like it's largely blown out of proportion. Mario Kart has always had some element of luck with the items. If you want a real racing sim, go play Forza or Gran Turismo. This is Mario Kart, man. My wife and I love playing games together. When we dated and lived an hour apart, we played a ton of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but my wife absolutely hated it. The game was balanced, sort of. We played hundreds of races with each other, and out of all of those, I could count on one hand how many times she beat me. Now, I know that sounds super cocky, but I say that to say I didn't have a good time either, because she didn't enjoy it, so I didn't enjoy it. It was hard for new players to reach the same levels as people that had been playing for years. Compare that to Mario Kart World though. Out of the 20 or 30 races we've already played together, she's probably won at least a third of those, maybe close to half. Am I competitive? Oh yeah, definitely. Do I hate losing? Absolutely. But I love the fact that she's able to enjoy it more. The worst feeling in the world is when you have to try to let someone win without letting them know that you're, letting them win. And then they find out, and they want to play even less than if you had just wiped the floor with them. You don't have to worry about that in Mario Kart World. As long as you can press accelerate and use items, you're solid. Heck, even my sister managed to get a win on me in our second race, and she never even played 8 Deluxe for the Switch.
I gotta hand it to Mario Kart World. Knockout Tour was probably only the second time in my life I can confidently say that I felt pretty accomplished in finishing 20th place. The other time was my high school graduation class.
There's also other modes such as Battle Mode, Versus Mode, and Time Trial. Versus Mode is pretty vanilla. You can change some rules and do some standard racing, nothing to write home about. Time Trial is, well, it's Time Trial. Battle Mode is probably the most fun out of these 3 modes, but it still would only be third if you grouped it with Grand Prix and Knockout Tour. I'll say that generally I've never been a big Battle Mode guy, but I might become one in this game. The battle maps seem pretty big and seem to be a lot of fun. Some are more chaotic than others, but you can play around with the settings to make items more or less frantic. Balloon Battle returns, and it's the mainstay here. There is another mode with coins, but who plays Battle Mode for that?
Of course, how can I talk about Mario Kart World without talking about the open world and the free roam? Because that's something that a lot of people have been asking for, and it was a big selling point of the game. The big problem with the open world is all of the things to do, or the lack thereof things to do.
Free roam in Mario Kart World does offer some things to do, such as P-switches, collecting Peach medallions, or hitting question blocks, which I've yet to even see, so maybe I'm bad, but that's about it. On the surface, yep, that's a problem. You hype up a free roam option and leave it mostly empty. Well, that's the other thing. The free roam isn't really that empty at all. It's actually quite loaded, but not with missions or stuff like that. It's kind of hard to explain unless you've experienced it, but the main appeal here behind free roam, and why some seem to be speaking negatively on it, is because it's not really for everyone. Not everyone is going to enjoy that mode for long periods of time. The whole idea is that you don't have to do anything. You can go where you want, do what you want, or you can just do nothing at all. You can goof off and drive around. You can see the sights, take pictures in photo mode, mess around with the in-game traffic, or link up with friends. It's cool to just really feel the world of Mario Kart, because that's what it is. It's a world.
It's more than just the namesake. See, in past games, the tracks weren't anything more than just tracks. Why would you go there if you weren't racing? Where in this game, the tracks are streets. They're towns, cities, communities. Part of the world. People are traveling around in here. Listen, I totally understand how some people find it difficult to self-motivate in Mario Kart World's open world. Some people just need a task list. They need a checklist or things to do. And yes, I'd be upset too if it were like the whole point of the game, but it is just kind of a side mode. After all, it doesn't even have its own option on the screen. It's a tiny little button in the corner.
Now, the characters. We have some new ones, we have some redesigned ones, and we have some absolute freaks. It's clear that Nintendo wanted to stick to purely Mario characters, which makes sense given the series is called Mario Kart. If you start including everyone from other games, it starts to feel too much like Smash Bros, and then it's not as special. However, some of the characters are odd choices to say the least. We have some that aren't too atrocious, like Piranha Plant. Alright, he's in Smash. Monty Mole and Shy Guy. Okay, well they're in Mario Party, so that makes sense. But after that, I mean, who the heck is playing as some of these guys? Conkdor? Parabitty Buddy Duddy Wuddy whatever his face is? I guess I should ease up a bit, as I thought that about Coin Coffer a bit. He would have been the first one I'd remove from the game. I couldn't even figure out what he was from. But then I watched Scott the Waz's video where he donated a Switch 2 with Mario Kart World to his local children's hospital, and wouldn't you know it, 2 kids right off the bat choose Coin Coffer.
You know, maybe they should just remove Mario at this point.
But nothing, and I mean nothing, hit me like seeing him. Blue Pianta. I don't even care if he's an oiled up version of himself. Come on now, it's Blue freaking Pianta. I mean, look at the guy. He's got such aura, such swagger. It should be illegal to have that much sex appeal.
But unfortunately, picking Blue Pianta was a challenge, because the character select screen, yeah, not a character select screen, it's Google Sheets on cocaine.
Every costume has its own slot. Okay, well, already not a great idea because there's like 8 Marios. You scroll through and find Farmer Luigi, Fast Food Yoshi, Toad with a giant burger on his head, and if you wanted to pick somebody like, I don't know, Sidestepper, good luck. Hope you got 10 extra seconds to waste every round. The costumes are also fairly neat. I found each character has maybe 1 or 2 I like, and the rest are mostly unnecessary. Does every character need a pro racer costume? It's not balanced either. Sure, Mario gets the most, I guess I can live with that, but Donkey Kong has the same number as Lakitu and Shy Guy, and not even everyone gets one?
You're telling me I can't change from blue Pianta to yellow or pink Pianta? Come on, man.
I don't need less characters. I don't even need less costumes. I need less confusion. Give us folders. Give us filters. Give us something. And finally, the Unlockables. I figured I should bring this up because, hey, looky there, Unlockables are back. The main meat of what you'll be unlocking are the characters. The costumes are rather easy, just grab the food bag items while playing as those characters and voila, costumes are unlocked. You will have to try different courses to get those costumes, but it's not the worst thing in the world. In order to unlock Donkey Kong, Daisy, Rosalina, Lakitu, Birdo, King Boo, and Bowser Jr., you'll want to complete each of the various cups. Not win, just finish. Super easy. By far, the worst unlockables in the game, however, are the random Mario characters not unlocked by default. In order to unlock Cataquack, Charge and Shuck, Blue Pianta, Coin Coffer, Conch Door, Dolphin, Fishbone, Peepa, Rocky Wrench, Spike, and Swoop, you have to play various tracks hoping for someone to get a rare item where Kamek transforms everyone into said character, and at the moment, the tracks that these characters appear on can be mostly random. Another big thing was that at the release of the game, people were questioning how you unlocked mirror mode. When the game first came out, a lot of people doubted whether it was in the game because nobody could actually figure it out. It kind of took me back to those days of Smash Bros where people used to make up the fake character involvements and saying, oh, Sonic is in Super Smash Bros Melee and Tails is too. Nobody online could really figure it out, so you kind of just had to play around and see if you got it on your own. As of writing the script, I looked it up and it appears that you have to first collect 10 Peach medallions in free roam, complete 10 P-Switch missions in free roam, collect 10 question mark panels in free roam, complete all Grand Prix Cups in 150cc, again you don't need to place first, only complete the races, complete all Knockout Tour rallies in 150cc, same thing, you don't need to place first, just complete the races, and once the above is done, race in and you complete the Special Cup. Obviously, that's quite a bit to do. If I'm being honest, after seeing all the discourse on social media and everyone arguing about how you actually unlock it, I was getting ready to divide by 0 just to unlock mirror mode. But I will say, as time consuming as that can be, it is really cool how they have you unlock mirror mode in free roam. As you go up to the Peach's castle and drive through Peach's glass stained window, it's kind of reminiscent like a Mario 64 Easter egg, if you will, and it's super cool. I love that they did that. Hear me out, I can see why people would be upset about all the unlockables being so time consuming, but still, hear me out. Everybody complains that the game is expensive. It better be worth that $80, it better have many hours of playtime packed in, and then when the game is built around replaying it so much, and getting, all those hours of playtime in, people complain, and backtrack, and say, well hang on a second, what, no, I want everything unlocked at the start, or just by beating races over and over again. So, back to the big question. Is Mario Kart World worth $80? Well, it really depends.
Look, if you're like me, who admittedly has been historically a big Nintendo fan, and you like playing all the Mario Kart games, and you want to be able to share those experiences with friends and family, then it's going to be worth it. You're going to have so much to do. If you like unlockables, you have the time, and maybe you don't even play a lot of games, so you need to devote your time to something when the Switch 2 releases, then yeah, sure. But if you're not really into like first-party Nintendo games, if you're not into kart racers, you don't really play a lot of multiplayer games, or maybe you have so many other games that you don't want to devote a lot of time to one game, then you could probably pass on it, or get the bundle to make it a little bit cheaper at the very least. Mario Kart World is proof that even when it seems like Nintendo might be trying to overcharge you, they might shock you. It might be worth even more than what the price tag actually said.
It's not just more Mario Kart, it's better Mario Kart. It's chaotic, stylish, experimental, and most importantly, it's just plain fun. If you played it, let me know your favorite course, character, costume, or if you too have fallen under the muscular, emotional spell of Blue Pianta in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join my Discord community with the link in the description.
Thanks for watching, guys, and if you'll excuse me, I need to get something off my chest. You remember when I said I was 20th in my graduating class in high school? That was a little bit of a lie. I was actually 24th, which would be last place in Mario Kart World. But hey, in that loaded roster, at least I made the cut.